Blackening is a slasher movie that's also a slapdash enjoyable social satire. That the satire turns out to be sharper than the scares, it's not a problem. It's all part of the film's solvently dynamic party atmosphere. The setup which feels like a Friday the 13th sequel by way of Bodies reunites 9 old college chums to celebrate Juneteenth weekend a big roomy house they have rented near the woods. Yes, it's a cabin in the woods movie, but cabin does not describe the place. As Tino turns cover of icon stand, the rain spins on the turntable. The first two to arrive, Morgan and Shawn, find their way to the basement game room, which has slaves of old board games, an ancient TV set on a Ouija board, and a prominently displayed game called the Blackening. Taking the box cover off, they discover, to their horror, that there's a plastic Sambo head in the middle of the board, which asks questions like what's the first black character of survive a horror movie? For a few minutes we are in the terrain of Scream by way of Get Out. When the others arrive, they go down to the game room and the television set suddenly pops on. We see one of those. Inside this is a taste of the emergency broadcast system screens with another Sambo face in the middle of it as Captain Ricky's plays on the banjo, and then the TV image shifts to black and white video of what happened to Morgan and Shawn. It's not a pretty picture. For a moment we seem to be in the realm of a saw, but as soon as we see the killer hidden behind a bondage mask scribed with a grotesque blackface character, the mood of racist honesty and anxiety begins to conjure more than ever a certain sunken place. Get Out was a great horror movie and it is way a series one that echoed the deep dish pantheon of films like Rosemary's Baby. The Blackening has no such pretensions. The script, parody by Tracy Overler and Devin Perkins, is full of dialogue that pops with omical toast of self-awareness. The Blackening is framed as a thriller, but the way that the veteran discovered theme story has staged it, the entire movie turns out to be a rip, a highly branded and witty one. On Black is jokes, black pop culture referently, and blackness itself. This is the sort of movie that pivots around the inside intricacies of the card game's spades, and in which a character looks at Nanandi, the group's tall and handsome player, and says, "You are an original African. You are a steel in its original packaging black." Or the park ranger shows up and is great with the line, "I have never been so happy to see a white savior." This is funny, nasty stuff, all delivered in the spirit of characters who reveal themselves the film in place, in a way they would not if white people were around. The actors make their presence felt. For Melvin Grace as King, the arrogant ex-James who feels he's doing penance by having married a white woman, to Antoine Robinson and Grace Byers as Lisa and Ellison, who carry on conversations so rooted in the intensity of their black sisterhood that they are telepathic, to Jermaine Flores as Clifton, the group nerd who, with his lopsided cock and fixation on the superiority of the Android of the iPhone, at first strict use as an announces chick, but he turns out to be a chick from hell. There's a surprise reasons to Floor's performance. This is a movie that culminates in the killers asking the group's members to save themselves by sacrificing the one of them who's the blackest. But what does that mean? As our chance definitions start to fall away, we realize that the very notions of being the blackest is a self-destructive power trip. The terrific and tagline of The Blackening is, of course, a reference to a long-standing trope and eye-rolling grip that the black character in a horror film always dies first. But the real joke is how perceptions like that one has become part of popular culture. The Blackening game keeps testing the character's knowledge of trivia with brain teaser like name the 5 black actors who appeared on Friends. By the time they're trying to answer that one, the movie is getting us crottle at the bitter irony of it all. That though a reigned pop scholasticism bends these characters as surely as it does the horror gigs of the Scream films, in a way it carries more urgency here, since every piece of trivia channels issue of inclusions versus being on the outside looking in. It's a terrible to The Blackening that invests everyone in the audience to feel included in its diabolically social captive. I hope you all guys are enjoying the video. Give a like if you like the video, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel to get more new videos.